Good afternoon, everyone. 4 o'clock straight up. Is it indeed a Wednesday? Oh my goodness, you know what that means. It is a Woosah Wednesday edition of Middays with Q coming at you live, powered by our wonderful friends over at TriX57. As always, I'm your host, Rich Quiñones. 2 hours to play with. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock straight up on this 2nd of July, 2025. You guys know how we play it on a Wednesday. It's a Woosah Wednesday, which basically entails this. How long will it take before not only the listeners get under my skin, something in the sports world gets under my skin, and I tend to crack? And I have a feeling it's going to happen within the first 5 to 10 minutes of our monologue on this, the 2nd of July. 4th of July is right around the corner. As I mentioned, as always, we'll take you up to 6. Get in on the conversation. We're live Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 right here on TriX57. Get social with us. Very easy to do. Follow along on TriX57, Facebook, IG, and X. The engagement has been incredible by you guys. And log on to TriX57. You can follow me on IG and X, Rich Q on Q, TikTok, Rich Q on the mic. And I don't even know where to begin at times. I'm never at a loss for words. You guys know it, and I know it. And there's, like I said, there's a lot going on, and typically there is. NFL training camps right around the corner. We'll get into the aftermath of what's transpired over the last several weeks as far as the Yankees, Phillies, the Mets. I want to get into a little boxing today. I'll throw out the question regarding Jake Paul, and then you have again, you've got the NBA and the New York Knicks, and that's part of kind of what's trending, if you will, right? And I will say this. As much as I did not really care about the Tibbs firing, because I didn't. I really didn't. I was just getting aggravated because the Knicks have just sat on their sat on their laurels, and they haven't made a decision to go and hire a coach. So, of course, what happens today? I'm minding my business, doing a little prep work, getting content, pushing out on social for you guys, mind you, for you guys. And all of a sudden, I get bombarded by the text messages. Mike Brown. What can Brown do for you? Mike Brown is your new head coach of the New York Knicks. Mike Brown, a classic retread. A guy that's been canned, I would have to say, a couple times throughout the course of his career. So this is kind of where we're at as a Knicks fan at this moment. This is where I'm at. I'm kind of tired and I'm a little aggravated with the franchise because I don't need this nonsense. I don't. And I know what people are going to say. Relax. You got a coach. He's won before. Look what he's been able to do. It's a retread in the NBA, period. That's all that is. This is a retread. This is exactly what I don't want when it comes to my sports teams. I don't want this. I don't want retreaded head coaches. I don't want to keep going down that rabbit hole. I don't want to keep going down that same path of going with guys that, again, a model of success. But oh, by the way, this guy's been fired not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. So the move by the Knicks today, it's got, it's got the fingerprints, the paws of a safe move. A safe move by the Knicks brass. That's all this move is. It's not sexy. It's not polarizing. It's not going to blow me away. This is your safe move. This is, okay, you know what? I've asked her to marry me a couple times. She said, no, we broke up. Let me just hang out with the girl next door that we had a crush on when I was 7 years old. She hasn't been married. Let me just ask her. That's the safe play right now. That's exactly what this move is right now with the New York Knicks. That's all it is. It's a safe move, and that's the problem. Stop doing moves that are safe. Stop doing moves that are comfortable. I haven't gotten into who they're going to go after next as far as free agents. But this move it reeks. It reeks of what poorly run franchises do. It reeks of what poorly run franchises do. And it's really, it's not about Dolan, but this has the markings of a Leon Rose and a World Wide West. That's all this move was by the Knicks today. That's it. And the problem is he doesn't represent, the obvious nor the most exciting choice, hence safe. Yeah, I get it. He's worked with all-time talent, generational talent, head coach, assistant to rosters with Duncan and Curry and LeBron and Kobe and Kevin Durant, and he, part of that Popovich tree in San Antonio. Fine, led teams to the playoffs. Okay, took a team of ragtag, if you will, journeyman players along with LeBron 20-something odd years ago into the NBA Finals. LeBron carried that team, and they were obviously overmatched, were they not? And they got roasted in the NBA Finals. So it's like, okay, fine. That was also, 20-something years ago. Oh, by the way, he only lasted a cup of coffee 71 games with the Lakers as Phil Jackson's replacement. So don't give me this nonsense. Oh, he got it the Kings to their first playoffs in 18 years. Yeah, but then the dude got fired again. So, this is just, if that's the case, you should have kept Tibbs, even though I didn't care that they fired him and I was ready to move on after the collapse in game one in the Eastern Conference Finals, where they choked a 20-point lead and choked a 10-point lead late against Indiana. It was time. It was time. So now you got Brown coming in. He's going to emphasize player development. We're going to expand the roster. We're going to empower this staff. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. This is not the type of move. And yeah, I get it. It's a Woosah Wednesday. You guys want me to breathe. You want tranquilo. You want kamete. I understand all that. I get it. It's not happening. It's not happening. These moves right now, when franchises don't have a direction in sport, this is what they do. They turn around and they play it safe. That's all this is. Let's play it safe to the vest. Why? Because again, it keeps everyone comfortable. It's status quo. We don't have to worry about anything. Really? So what happens if they come out of the gate and they're 18-23? Seriously, what happens if they're 18-25 and all of a sudden the call's for Brown because he doesn't know how the hell to use rotations or when to give guys blows or when to slow them down a little bit or fix the half-court offense, or Cat's in foul trouble too much and he's not getting on them. Brunson's a turnover machine. I'm not going to get on him. What happens then? We just sit there, and what do? We win 40 games in the Eastern Conference, and then they're going to fire this guy. This is the same exact nonsense and crap that the Giants have done. It's the same nonsense and crap that the Giants have done in football. The franchise that I've been, once I popped out of my mother's womb, I blue coming out of me. Blue coming out of me. You see it right there in the lower thirds and the graphics and the banners on Middays with Q. So again, this is a hire that just reeks of let's just play it safe. Let's not think outside the box. And I don't want to hear about this nonsense. Don't give me LeBron James and connections. Don't even throw. I see you guys having a ball right now, yucking up, throwing Ben Simmons in my direction. Stay the way. Just go away. I don't want to even deal with that nonsense. I don't. You had an opportunity. When you fired Tibbs, you should have had a plan in place. But nobody wants to bring that up today. Nobody wants to bring that up. See, a lot of times the rationale, the argument, the theory is if you're going to fire this guy, who are you going to bring in better? Now, am I going to sit here and be fair? Or am I going to sit here and be fair and objective and honest and say, is Brown better than Tibbs? Is he? He's not. And you know me, I wasn't a big Tibbs fan. But because the Knicks and the way their culture is right now, and it's a toxic culture within that organization and the nonsense leaking out with the locker room, every coach that they've tried to talk to, they have been rejected. You know exactly where I'm going with this. We've all got buddies. We go to the bar back in the day. You guys know exactly the friend I'm talking about. Here's a dude that has a couple pops, and he might be a good-looking cat. He might have charm and charisma, and he's flirting with every girl, and he's getting denied at every single dollar corner. And it's like, okay, it's 10:30. Denied. 10:45. Denied. Oh, here comes the blonde that walks through the door. By the way, denied. She's married. 11 o'clock. 11:45. Denied. Now it's last call. Denied, denied, denied. Nobody wants to have a drink with this guy for some reason. He might be a good-looking cat. He might be charming. He might have some charisma, but he's getting denied left and right. That's the Knicks. That's exactly what this franchise is right now. And it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. They blew a series. They blew an Eastern Conference Finals to an inferior opponent, Indiana Pacers. They fired their head coach, which, again, I did not have a problem with. And they went into this offseason with no plan after they did that. None. None. And that's exactly what happens. It's exactly what happens. You sit there and you fire, you shoot first, you don't even look. It's just, it boggles my mind. It does. What is so wrong with doing something different? What is so wrong with trying something different and thinking outside the box and at least saying, you know what? We're there. We need a different voice. We need a different set of eyeballs. And again, I'm not going to, Jason Kidd, the Mark Jacksons, the Van Gundy, those are still not different. But the Kidd, I think, gives a little more juice. Brown doesn't give me juice. Van Gundy doesn't give me juice. Been there before. Mark Jackson is a player. We already know what he did as a head coach. Give him credit for Golden State before Kerr took over. But again, not going to blow me away. Jay Wright was not going to give up a cushy TV job wearing $1,000 suits and looking prim and proper on the air to take the Knicks job. But I'm telling you, there were probably other candidates out there that would have made a lot more sense, but they just went with the safe hire. And that's what franchises that are afraid to take that next step and think outside the box, that's what they do. Status quo. Status quo ain't going to win you championships. Status quo isn't going to bring in high-priced free agents. Status quo is not going to have this, this perception, the optics of this is the destination where I want to go, where I want to play. That's not who this team is right now. Jovan chimes in. Knicks made the hire that we all know they would by the end. Brown isn't a floor raiser. He'll get you to a second round. And that's not good enough, Jovan. I don't need a second round. I've lived through that. I just made it to the Eastern Conference Finals if I'm the Knicks. I don't need second round because now all of a sudden we're teetering what the 76ers have been doing for years. I don't want that. I don't. Don't give me the coach. Oh, you might have an opportunity to, maybe be in playoff contention. Maybe you have an opportunity to win a playoff game in the NFL. That's not good enough. It's not. It's just not good enough, man. This guy hasn't won a playoff series since 2012, and now he's coming in replacing a guy that by all accounts was beloved, who just took him to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years. It's 25, 20 plus years. It's going to bite them in the fanny. It's going to bite them in the fanny. What if they come out of the gate and they struggle and you're going to hear the leaks right away. You're going to hear the leaks right away. You have to be taken. If I'm going to take you serious as a franchise, then you got to act serious, man. You have to act serious. You have to play the part, right? You have to play the part. Now, I hope he comes in, and if he does a good job, great. If they win, I'm going to shut up. Now, this other thought that SNYZ and Begley is talking about the Knicks having a level of interest in, without a doubt, one of the biggest, and I'm not, again, I don't attack these guys personally, but you want to talk about a losing player, a bum of a player, Ben Simmons? Really? You're going to throw to me Ben Simmons, who I had to listen to clowns for years when I was on the air down here? Guys after me, before me, around me on the radio tell me that Ben Simmons was a transcendent player? This guy is a bum. This guy is a bum. Are you kidding me with this nonsense? Stay away from the Knicks. Don't even touch this guy. He's got no juice left in the tank. You want me to say he's cooked? He's cooked. He's not the player he was with the Philadelphia 76ers. And don't give me this. He's going to be intriguing on the bench. Yeah, great. Late in the game, because guys are in foul trouble, Simmons comes in and you need this guy to shoot a three because you're down 3 late, and he's really going to pick up the rock and shoot it. Stop. Just stop. This franchise right now, it's an utter joke. It's an utter joke what they're doing. It really does. It reminds me of what the Giants have done. Seriously, it's so commonplace now with New York sports. The Giants go from Coughlin, a guy that's won 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. Mara pushes him out the door. They decide we're going to hire McAdoo and his oversized suits and his oversized Denny Menus playbook. That implodes. Yeah, you win 11 games. You get to the playoffs. You have all those drop balls against Green Bay on the road. That was the boat trip weekend. We all know that. It's haunted the Giants franchise ever since. It's going on almost 10 years now. You get rid of him. From him, you go to a debacle and a disgrace and a guy that was totally in over his head in Pat Shurmur because it was a nice, safe hire. And then from there, let's pluck from the Belichick tree and go Joe Judge, who turned out to be an absolute clown. But at the time, safe pick. It's a Belichick guy. It's going to work out. Now you go to Brian Daboll. And thus far, the verdict's still out. If you want to be taken serious as franchises, grab the guy you want with your convictions and stick with him. Stick with him. No more of this, 2-3 years. Here we go. We're going to get rid of this guy. Stick with the guy and try to grow the franchise that way. Build within the roster, the fan base, build a little equity, put a little coin in the bank. But these franchises, they don't want to do it. Either they're overly loyal, too loyal, or they just stand pat and they want to play it safe. And safe doesn't win in life. It doesn't. Safe doesn't win in life. Sometimes, you got to take a shot. You got to take an outside chance. You got to do something that maybe you're not comfortable with. And if you fail, you fail. That's okay. But at least you're giving it an opportunity, a shot. Like, Jovan's comment, Kevin C., Knicks fan in North Jersey chiming in. Safe pick is 100%, Q. Safe doesn't do anything for me. Safe is now fun. Safe doesn't win you championships. It just doesn't. And they're showing me once again, time and time again, like just when I want to take these guys serious, just when I want to look at these franchises and say, you know what, I got belief in you. I got belief in you. Look, I'll give you the perfect example, and it pains me to say this. The Philadelphia Eagles go from Ray Rhodes. They make the not sexy hire to who? Andy Reid. And it worked out pretty well. Then Andy Reid had his shelf life. Then after Andy Reid, what direction do they go? Chip Kelly, because they weren't thinking outside the box, but they were going all, flash and sauce and sizzle. It was just a bad hire. Then Chip, you go to Doug. Not a sexy hire, but here you go. Here's a guy that was a journeyman quarterback, played with the Eagles, cup of coffee, McNabb, veteran. Here's the rookie. Bring him in. You got Doug, smart guy, handles the quarterbacks, ultimately won a Super Bowl. Won a Super Bowl, mind you. Their first championship, their first Lombardi trophy. What are you thinking? Philly special. Yeah, let's run it. There you go. In the history books, the annals, right? If you're an Eagles fan, little hairs on the back of your neck need to stand up on this July 2nd. If they don't, you don't have a heartbeat. You don't have a pulse. And then Doug's shelf life ran out quickly. Okay, fine. Then Sirianni. No one knew who Nick Sirianni was. No, nobody. And if you sit there and you say, oh, yeah, Sirianni, I think he's going to be a hell of a hire. I think he's going to be a hell of a hire. It's a guy, he's a New York guy. He's a Jamestown, New York guy. Hey, he's a little young. He's kind of bounced around a little bit. Cup of coffee, Kansas City, San Diego. Don't know too much about him. Oh, the OC with the Colts. Here we go. Here's an opportunity. And he sat there in the press conference, and I was on the air at the time, and I ripped him. I absolutely ripped him. I mocked him. I trolled him. I just basically spent 2 hours just killing this guy, saying what a joke of a hire, talking about, planting seeds, fertilizing, water, thinking of a song Bette Midler and the Rose. And I just mocked this dude. And what's happened now? This guy has just turned into arguably one of the top coaches in the NFL. He's taken the franchise to 2 Super Bowls over the last 3 years, and he's coming off a Super Bowl win. Why? Because Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles brass decided we're doing something different. We are thinking outside the box. It might not blow people away. It's not a safe hire because we can have a lot of egg on our face. but we're going to turn around and we're going to give this young man a shot. And it's paid off in spades. The ROI, the return on the investment, has been astronomical with the Philadelphia Eagles and Nick Sirianni. If you're a successful franchise, if you're a successful sports franchise, that's how you have to attack it. You have to. If you play it safe, you're never going to succeed. You're never going to succeed. And the Knicks today proved to me once again on this Woosah Wednesday, which took me about 6 minutes into the show to crack, that they should not be taken serious. They shouldn't. If that was the case, you might as well have kept Tibbs. So you got to run it with Brown and see what happens. All right, just cranking up on a Wednesday edition, Middays with Q on the 2nd of July, 2025, 20 in the books. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock. A lot of comments coming in already. We'll read them off Facebook, X, YouTube channel. Get in on the conversation. As always, I encourage you guys to get social with us. TryX57 on Facebook. Like, comment, subscribe. And on X, log on to tryx57.com. Also, you can follow me on IG and X. I got some picks and plays that we'll be posting on TikTok later in the week. Rich Q on the mic. But keep it locked in. I want to get to your comments on the other side. So a little more on the NBA. Mix in a little baseball. NFL in the 5 o'clock hour. And I'm going to throw it out when we come back on the other side. I want to get into a little boxing. I have a couple thoughts on where we're at in the state of boxing at this moment. And it has to do with Jake Paul. So we want to dive into that as well. As I mentioned, we are just cranking up on an absolutely busy Wednesday down the shore right outside the stone's throw of Atlantic City on the 2nd of July, 2025. Keep it locked in. 20 past 4 o'clock hour. We're flying solo on this Wednesday. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock straight up right here on a Wednesday edition of Middays with Q.
The glass got the drinks pouring. Take a risk like it's a short thing. Going in, yeah, I'm going all in. Get food out, yeah, you can bring a friend. Dive right in, let's go. Move forward and dip in the flow. Let the rhythm take control. It's going down tonight, yeah. Dive right in, let's go. Move forward and dip in the flow. Let the rhythm take control. It's going down tonight, yeah. Dive right in.
This is what the Down Beach Seafood Fest is all about. It's about community, it's about friends, it's about culture, right? The food culture in Atlantic County is rich.
Hidden in an abandoned campground in South Jersey lies a mystical encounter with brews and spirits, where bonfires burn, shadows dance, and flavor favors the bold. Ghosts, ghouls, goblins, grown-ups, it's time to reclaim Halloween. This is Witchcraft, October 10th and 11th. For tickets and information, visit witchcraftnj.com.
Hi, I'm Bruce Pascoe. I'm very fortunate. Years ago, I found something that I genuinely like to do, and it's something that helps other people. What I do is help people transition from traditional health insurance into Medicare. I've been doing it here in Atlantic County for more than 20 years. If you're getting ready for Medicare, call me for a free consultation. 609-484-9800.
All right, 25 past 4 o'clock hour. We'll take up to 6 o'clock straight up. Get some comments rolling in on this Woosah Wednesday. By the way, Phil is double dip. I have to update. I'll give it to you right now because we had all that bad weather. So obviously, you had some of these double headers. Let me just pull it up right now. We got the Phillies. Phillies lost 6-4 to the Pods. And then they'll play later on this evening as well. So, as I mentioned, I want to mix in a little baseball today because we definitely love to talk a little baseball on the show. Do we not? Red Sox over the Reds 5-3. You got Sanchez on the hill for the Phillies. So the second of the double dip, first pitch is 6:15. Yankees, I'm almost to the point right now where I just don't even know what to make of the Yankees. They got the Blue Jays tonight. Warren's going to be on the hill. He's 5-4 with a 4.37 ERA. The Yankees just stink right now. They stink. I mean, you win 2 out of 3 against the A's, and then again, you no-show against Toronto, and now all of a sudden, not only did we think it was going to be the Yankees and Tampa in the AL, the Red Sox got some life. They're only 6 back in the AL East, and Toronto and Tampa is only 1 game back of the Yankees. I don't know what's going on with Baltimore. They're fading fast, but it just kind of gives you an idea where if you hit a skid, a slide in baseball season, it can definitely hurt. Time to pop the car at 1:15 a.m. Well, it depends, right? It depends. Like, the analogy I was throwing out before, Madman, was just typically, like I said, you're running through the gauntlet here. You're just trying to find a companion to talk with, maybe share a little pop with a drink later on in the evening. And what the Knicks were basically doing, they were pretty much going from bar to bar to bar. That's exactly what they were doing. Michael says, stay fired up, Q. We are a little aggravated today, my friend. We are. Word on the street, corporate member gets scared at Halloween events. Yeah, right. You got to love when we're promoting the stuff for Halloween, right? And it's July, right? We're going through the dog days of summer. And I don't know. I was told that no member of the corporation has any type of fear whatsoever. None. None, whether it's, when it comes to people that dress their pets, whether it's Chuck Norris, whether it's Halloween, sharks, there's no fear with, no member, any member of the corporation. Now, that can be a different story if we're talking about the Bunker Boys, who over the last several days have been extremely quiet. The Bunker Boys will pop up when I'm talking Eagles. The Bunker Boys will pop up when we're talking Phillies. The Bunker Boys pop up when we're talking Sixers or the Flyers. But other than that, at times, nowhere to be found. Sarge in Delaware chiming in. Q, I would say it is a safe hire. Don't get bent out of shape. The guy has proven he has won before. As you mentioned, he did take a bad Cleveland team to the NBA Finals. Yeah, but Sarge, that was more of LeBron. Like LeBron took that team, which was bad. That roster, do you remember that roster? That Cavs roster? How they won 50 games is beyond me, man. They had Shannon Brown, remember Boobie Gibson, right? Daniel Gibson, Boobie Gibson, not Boobie Miles in Friday Night Lights. They had Daniel Gibson, Drew Gordon. They had Larry Hughes. They had, the Big Z. They had LeBron. I'm trying to think who else. Let me see. Who else was on that roster? Danielle Marshall, right? Eric Snow was on that roster. Damon Jones was on that roster, right? David Wesley, I think, was in his 14th or 15th year. That was a 50-win team that was just a bunch of garbage, with all due respect. Now, they didn't stand a chance in that series against the Spurs, if you recall, right? Safe, yeah, but safe is not good. Correct. Safe is not good. Safe is not good. And Mike Brown, in the words of de facto, is cooked. It's, again, a safe hire. I've gone through the gauntlet. We don't like safe hires with our sports teams. We don't. We sit back and we go like this. Yeah, it's not a bad hire. Yeah, it's a safe hire for where they want to go, for what they want to do. Well, what is that? Get to the second round, get back to the Eastern Conference Finals, win the Eastern Conference, and have an NBA Finals appearance. Perhaps win an NBA championship. You look at the Eastern Conference right now, guys. I mean, look at the way the Eastern Conference is playing out. DL released. The Bucks turn around, they get Turner. Indiana loses him. You're dealing with Halliburton injury. That franchise may be in a little bit of limbo. The Boston Celtics have pretty much told you we are rebuilding, whether you want to call it tanking, we're rebuilding. We're going to try to get our ducks in a row. We're going to play the long game. This is a team that won 61 games this past season, and they're just shredding. You lose Tatum, Holiday, gone, Porzingis, gone. Now there's talk, who else are we going to get into, right? Who else can maybe we move? Jaylen Brown's name has come up. Derek White's name has come up. So they're basically just unloading the chamber. They're just unloading the chamber right now. Then you look at the Bucks. You have no idea what's going on with the Bucks. We just talked about them. You got Cleveland. They won a lot of games, but then they didn't no-show in the Eastern Conference, right? I mean, if some of these teams are smart, like for instance, mini rebuild for Boston is so smart. It is because you can build around. If you're going to keep Tatum, Brown, White, you can build around those guys. You can certainly build around those guys. You shed some contracts, you get rid of some players, you retool. And as you guys already pointed out, and you guys are ahead of me, and I appreciate that. I can respect that. What if this team turns around and they win 15 games next year? And oh, by the way, they get a top 5 pick, a lottery pick. You're bringing Tatum back with the nucleus that they have. The Boston Celtics are going to be right back there again in 2 years. They're going to win 60-something odd games. So sometimes these injuries, as much as we hate them in sports, and we feel bad for the player, and we think the player's never going to recover, in basketball, sometimes it's the best thing for the organization. Because now you take a step back and you say, look, there's no way without Tatum we're going to be able to put a really competitive product on the field, on the court. Yeah, we can win games. But look, Porzingis, Holiday, Let's start stripping down. And in today's NBA, you can turn around and who's to say they don't turn around and get Damian Lillard? I mean, listen, the talent right now, when you talk about the talent drain, if you're a Boston Celtics fan, you have to understand what Brad Stevens is doing. He traded away veterans, Drew Holiday, Kristen Porzingis. The kid, Luke Cornett, left in free agency. Al Horford, a pro's pro, but his future remains unclear. He turned around. The Celtics added the kid Simons, right? Luca Garza, who sounds like should have been a character in The Godfather, right? So now you got balance out the roster. They know it. Their talent has taken a substantial dip. They're very thin at the power forward spot. They're very thin at the center position. They lack depth. They don't really have proven NBA talent when it comes to depth. I'm not talking about Brown or White and if Tatum was healthy. So they know what they're facing next season. If you're a Boston Celtics fan, man, don't even sweat it. Don't even get worked up if you're 15, 20 and 60. Think long term. They got a head coach in place, they got the core and the nucleus, and you have a wide open Eastern Conference. So they're smart about it. In that regard, rebuild away. Conversely, the Knicks turned around and they made the splash. And what did they do? They went out. They got the Jersey product. They got the local kid. They got Cat. They got Karl Anthony Towns. Now, I thought he played well. I thought he played well for the Knicks. I think they lost a little bit of edge and physicality with the loss of Randall. Now, Robinson tried to give him minutes as well in the postseason. And then you look at the Knicks as a whole. You look at their roster, the way it's constructed at this moment. Can I sit here on July 2nd and tell you with this hire they got better? I mean, think about what they gave up for Bridges. You've got Brunson, you've got Cat, you've got Hart, you've got OG, you got Robinson, you got McBride. You got depth, you got some role players, but now the Knicks have to figure out a way to, the Clarkston, that's a solid move, right? Here's a player that got released by the Jazz, but are they going to make that splash? Are they going to go after Giannis? Like, that makes a splash. Durant wouldn't have done anything for me. Is now LeBron in play because of Mike Brown? I mean, there's no credible reports or indication that Giannis and the Knicks, there's this flirtation going on. I think Giannis is going to weigh his options, understanding exactly what the Milwaukee Bucks just did. Because they realize ultimately Giannis is sitting there saying, man, I don't know what this franchise is doing. I want to stay with them. I want to be loyal. But here's for those that want the Knicks to go after Giannis, the reality is this. You don't have the assets. You don't. Because if Milwaukee's smart, what are they going to do? They're going to hang on for the best possible deal. Now, if he asks out, he'll likely have a trade list. Who knows? If they don't trade him to the, quote, preferred destination, a guy like Giannis, a superstar, a franchise player, one of the faces of the NBA, a championship player, he will have a say where he winds up. And he's always loved New York, but he's also set to make $60 million in 2025. So how are the Knicks going to finagle that? How are they going to Howie Roseman it and crunch numbers, right? So Karl-Anthony Towns, now stay with me, Karl-Anthony Towns and Miles McBride. Add those contracts. You got $53 million. I think McBride is making 4.3. I'll check. Now you're talking 57 total. So theoretically, a deal around those two could work. The problem is you make a move for Towns, and now there's stuff coming out about the lack of effort and the understanding of defensive schemes. Again, so it's like Nick's interested in Ben Simmons. What do you think? You'll hate it. Hate him, Michael. With passion. He's a dog. He's an absolute. All I heard for years, I used to get so riled up on the air when someone would tweet at me, Ben Simmons working out in a gym, looking ripped, and hitting all his jump shots. Man, when he was with the Sixers, remember they had to will him to take a three. I mean, a player prop for him shooting a three, you'd probably be a millionaire by now because he never connected on one. Ben Simmons showed me everything I needed to know. Everything I needed to know, not only as a basketball fan, right, but as a Simmons watcher. He showed me everything I needed to know about him when he gave up that gimme dunk in the playoffs against Atlanta. That moment, and you can speak to any Sixers fan that might be tuning in right now. That moment he gave up that gimme dunk and he tries to dish it off and he doesn't go up strong, that showed me everything I need to know about Ben Simmons. He's a soft player. He's a soft player. That moment encapsulated his Sixers career. After that, that's when he turned around and he was like, I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to play in someone else's sandbox. I mean, forcing the back injury, the back issues, not wanting to play, not being a team player, making all these concessions for Embiid with Simmons and Harden and never transpired, going to the Nets and never worked out. Simmons, nah. I don't want Ben Simmons. I don't want that aura on this team. I don't. Don't give me losing players. Seriously. Don't give me players that just don't care. This dude doesn't care. This guy never spent time in the gym. He never wanted to perfect his craft. All I heard was, hey, look at his size, 6'10". He's a unicorn. He can dish. He can dunk. He can put the ball on the floor. He's got unbelievable court acumen and court vision. That might all well be true. But when am I going to see it? Like, when am I going to see? Oh, he's a lockdown. Yeah, there's so many great defenders in the NBA. That's overrated. I don't care about all-stars. NBA. Are you a winning player, man? Are you a winning player? This guy is not a winning player. He's not. You don't need those types of players. And remember, leading up to the draft, what was the red flag? This kid had a little Ace Bailey in him. The attitude, his character, his commitment, his work ethic. No. The reason Simmons was drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers, it's pretty clear, it was Brett Brown. It was Brett Brown. He went to bat. Brett Brown, again, think about this, former Australian national team coach, friend of Simmons' family, basically, turned around. He said, no. This is a good kid. He's going to work hard for us. He's going to work hard for us. Okay. How'd it work out? I don't care about Rookie of the Year. Michael Carter Williams won the Rookie of the Year. I don't care about that. I don't. Go back, and all you need to do is watch the series against the Atlanta Hawks. That's everything you need to know about Ben Simmons. He showed you again in those playoffs. He just struggled. He even coming off the bench, man, if you're going to come off the bench, I need you to be able to put the ball on the floor. I need you to be able to be aggressive on offense, not timid. And you go to the, if you're so great, how do you not attempt a single shot in the final quarter in 5 out of the first 7 games? Because he had no confidence getting fouled, going to the charity stripe. And then he holds out. Like I said, the game 7 loss when he passed up the open dunk was the turning point in that game. It was the turning point in the series. It was the turning point in the Sixers franchise in a way where, guess what? That's where we all started to question the foundation, the cracks in the armor, Doc Rivers, Embiid, Simmons, the makeup of the team. And then he goes to Brooklyn, and it just didn't work out. So to answer your question in short, no. I want no parts of Ben Simmons. None. Give me winners. That's all I want. And I'm not saying the Knicks right now have a bunch of winning players. De facto has a Ben Simmons jersey. He probably does. Like I said, the Bunker Boys, let's call it for what it is. These cats at times are front runners, man. They're front runners. You got one of them living in the DC area more concerned about what the Commanders are doing than the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, perhaps we have an issue going on just like Vince. Vince turns around. He's a 40-something-year-old Steeler fan, decides, I'm going to flip the script. I don't want to be a Steelers fan anymore. He's a closet Jacksonville fan. Maybe that's exactly what we need to investigate on a Woosah Wednesday with De Facto and the Bunker Boys. I've never had somebody comment who's an Eagles fan worried so much about what another friggin' team is doing. Never. Constant. Mark the tape. Bookmark this. Tape it up. Mark it here. Snip it and clip it. Worried about what the Commanders are doing. That tells me that there is a sentiment of the Eagles fan, by the way, Michael. There is a sentiment of the Eagles fan that I think is a little antsy going into the season. I think they're a little worried that Washington is legit. I also think they're looking at last season and perhaps saying, one and done, an aberration, if you will. Perhaps. Steve chimes in on Facebook, retread. Mike Brown, yeah. It's, again, take a shot, man. Can we do something different? Like, what's the worst that happens? And I know already, I see Tom, I see Maddie, I see Franchise. Pretty much, let me encapsulate what they're saying. Like Franchise says, Q, you be whining, complaining, crying if they turn around, went outside the box, and it blew up in your face. This is a safe hire. Here's a guy that should easily be able to win 50 games in the Eastern Conference. Relax. Joe D chiming in. Q, again, 2020, it's all in hindsight. Your Monday morning quarterbacking. If the Knicks struggle, you're going to sit there and say fire them. If they come out of the gate and they're 30-10, then what are you going to do? Are you going to bitch and whine and complain on the air? I'm not. All I'm saying is this. Outside the box. What's wrong with that? Like, what's wrong with that? Outside the box. No, Michael. Ben Simmons, 6'8" guy that can defend, comes off the bench and can give you what? Minutes? I don't care about minutes. Costs less than $5 million. I'm not sure about the amount. I don't care. I don't want Ben Simmons on this roster. I don't. Because what happens if these guys get in foul trouble late in the third, heading into the fourth? I need Simmons to come on the floor and play meaningful minutes. I don't trust him. TJ McConnell, I trust. And I don't care 6'8" in the length. That means nothing to me. He's so timid. He is so timid. He does not have that killer instinct, man. He just doesn't. You want guys that have the right type of dog in them. Simmons doesn't have that type of dog. We talk about the DAWG. That's the type of dog I want in the foxhole. He's got the DOG. He just rolls over, man. This kid's been handed everything. He's been spoon-fed his entire life. You don't need a player like that, even a role player coming off the bench. It's a waste of talent. He's 28 years of age. You would think right now this guy would be on the path to being a Hall of Fame player, and he's a journeyman player right now. He's a journeyman player. Period. All right, 446. So I wanted to turn my attention for a couple moments. We'll get to the NFL. 5 o'clock hour, NFL heavy. Got some questions we're going to pose for you guys out there. But I threw this out the other day. Here's the state of boxing. Now, you guys know I'm a boxing guy, right? I call the fights, love interviewing the fighters, just love the sport. It's nowhere where it was 60s, 70s, and 80s. This whole argument, Atlantic City going to be the Mecca again for not happening. We already know that. It's Vegas, it's New York. Okay, fine. So, Jake Paul, who's made a career out of what? Being the YouTube guy, getting himself out there, creating the content, taking up the sport, and then battling, fighting, competing against other YouTube stars. Now, you saw what happened over the weekend if you decided to rent it or not. So Jake Paul fights cruiserweight. So to fight against Chavez, if he won the fight, which he did, there would be talk, okay, he can be ranked. So as it stands, Jake Paul is now ranked. He's eligible for a WBA cruiserweight title shot. And it's got so many people up in arms. So the WBA, World Boxing Association, Jake Paul's 12-1. He's got 7 knockouts. He's number 14 after he beat former middleweight champ Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So here's a guy that was a social media icon, a social media influencer. And he decides, I'm going to pick up the sport of boxing. I'm going to be the problem child. I'm going to call people out. I'm going to be outlandish. And I'm going to back it up. I'm going to create my own promotional company. I'm going to back it up. I'm going to get females paid and headline in fights, and I'm going to back it up. He's done all that. He has done all of that and then some. And as a purist, I sit and I say, oh, man, this guy is not good for the sport. This guy is not good for the sport. But if you really take it too serious, you're missing the point here. It is all about entertainment, is it not? It's all about entertainment. And he has been able to bring a different type of eyeball to the sport of boxing. Man says Jake Paul is the boxing what the Savannah Bananas are to baseball. So you think that's entertainment and or a joke? I need a little more context. Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson. Put her some respect on his name, says Michael. I think Jake Paul is actually good for the sport of boxing. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it shows you right now, it should make the guys that really are your full-time fighters and really compete at the highest level, they should be ticked because they're missing out on a boatload of money. But what they fail to realize is this: it might not be fair, man, but it is what it is. And this guy, Jake Paul, has been able to cultivate and turn what he does on social media into basically must watch, must see. It's exactly what his brothers were doing in Ohio with all these pranks and all this stuff and building up their content. Then he started to train. Then he started to knock guys out. Then he started to put more time into it. Then he started to protect his craft. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this guy's an all-time great. I'm not. He's like club level, solid fighter, moves around a little bit, has a little pop, but he's put in the time and the energy, and he's trying to perfect his craft. And while he's doing it, he's marketing the sport because people like us are talking about it, because people are buying these pay-per-views. See, the problem is this. If you have a problem, again, with a guy like Jake Paul, remember, it's all about what? Entertainment. And entertainment brings fannies to the seats. It fills arenas, and it brings in revenue, and it brings in money. So don't be overly sensitive because of what this guy's doing. And many are going to watch because they want to see him knock someone out, but they also want to see him get what? Knocked out. So you can sit there and say, man, this is ridiculous. It's not fair. Hey, man, he's doing it his way. And I have to appreciate that. And he might get knocked on his fanny. And every time he runs his mouth, he's backing it up. I mean, he's backing it up. That's the problem. I'm not going to sit there and say this guy's going to be, unified cruiserweight champ. I'm not going to say that. But he's beaten former world champions back to back. Now, I get it. You go from Chavez, to Tyson. I understand it. But what he is doing is he is basically perfecting his craft, and he's pouring money into the women's side of the sport with MVP, most valuable promotions. And all that's going to do is make him more and more popular. And again, man, whether this guy is really going to be great or not, it's secondary. It's secondary. And like I said, there's so much nonsense within the sport. But man, I'm not going to sit here and rip this guy because I know exactly what he's doing with female boxing. I mean, I was covering women's boxing, 15, 20 years ago when nobody was given a second look. I got, on old pods, on old blogs, when I was doing my own Q blog, when I was doing Double Jab, I got the Maureen Shays, the Amanda Serranos, the Cindy Serranos, the Alicia Napoleons, the Shelly Vinces. They were coming on my show. I was trying to give them a little push and some exposure. So I appreciate exactly what he is doing, and it's making money and it's eyeballs. On a serious note, he's an entertainer like his brother in WWE. He can bring in a new audience. Yeah. Tyson held a punch in the first round that would have flown Jake out of the ring. You can bring eyes to the sport, but it can be tarnishing at the same time. In what way? So the sport of boxing already needs to get cleaned up. So let me ask you this. That's like a pro running their mouth to a high schooler. Stop it. Is that to me or is to that? Is that a shot at me on a Woos on Wednesday, man? Can we clarify here? Maybe you're taking a shot at someone else. I got some comments coming in. Tom from Summer's Point. I know, Q, you are a historian and a purist. I'm a little surprised to say that. Hear you say that he's good for the sport. Shocking to say the least. Matty Ice in Wilmington chimes in. Q, I remember back in the day, $12.90 ticket. Every Thursday, you were talking boxing on the air. Good to see you doing it again. I have no problem with Jake Paul. He's been able to turn that into millions and millions of dollars. And as you alluded to, he's helping out the female fight game. So you have to remember something. Everything is about content. That's it. The terrestrial, the radio. I'm not sitting here. I'm a radio guy, 20 plus years. I love radio. I'm not saying it's a dying terrestrial radio. I'm not saying that, but you pivot and everything's about social media, pushing content real time, right? Going viral, getting eyeballs. It's what he's doing. I don't think that's tarnishing the sport. What's tarnishing the sport of boxing is when these champs don't want to face each other. When you got these young kids who are trying to deem themselves, the new book of kings, the new kings, and they won't get in the ring. They refuse to fight each other. Why? Because we can't agree on the splits. We can't agree on the purses. They're running and ducking. That's exactly what they're doing. They're running and ducking. You're not going to get that in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Guys were fighting each other, period. The other thing is we always were enthralled and enamored with the heavyweight division because we wanted that next great American heavyweight. Well, it's kind of been different over the years because it's all been about the Europeans. So you lose that luster. So that's number two. And then, of course, you go back to the officiating in the sport, which is a joke. The scoring in boxing is horrible. Every time we turn around, there's always, a situation where we're like, the guy got robbed. I see it on local cards in a 4-round fight. When you think, oh, that's 40-36, and all of a sudden it's a majority decision, or it's a draw, or it's the opposite. I never like to say on the air, the right fighter won. That's not fair. Get the right score. But hell, I've seen in a 4-round fight, when you know the A side whooped the B side's butt 4 straight rounds. So you do the math. Right there. It's a 10-9 round. It's 40-36 across the board. And then all of a sudden, ring announcer goes up there. I throw it to him, and we're talking about it. Oh, what do we got here? We got 39-37, 38-38. I'm like, what are we watching here? Now you're getting it 8-rounders, 10-rounders, championship affairs where there's too much at stake. That tarnishes the sport of boxing. Not an influencer who's hitting a punching bag and doing the mitts and showcasing his talents and getting paid on PPV. Why? Because people want to pay for it. I can't fault him. Come on. It's ridiculous. I can't fault him for that. It's entertainment. What's pro wrestling? You can tell me that's serious? It's entertainment. It's entertainment. It's all entertainment. MMA, UFC, entertainment. Boxing, entertainment. Bare knuckle, entertainment. NBA, NFL, baseball, hockey, all entertainment. It's how we're viewing it through the prism of our lenses that bothers some people. Like, we're supposed to sit here and tell you, again, we're supposed to tell you this, right? I'm supposed to tell you, well, here's a guy that's done fights for years. And that's, what I've called him on CNN, Comcast, CBS. Wow. Again, what I'm saying is it's entertainment. I appreciate what this man is doing because he's attracting a newer audience. He's taken all his influencers from what he was doing on YouTube and on social media, and now they're following him to the ring, and maybe they're learning about the sport a little more. Maybe they're getting more enamored with the sport. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's eyeballs at the end of the day, guys. You know it and I know it. I'm not comparing the two. I'm not saying it's okay with boxing becoming wrestling. No, that's where I have a problem. What I'm saying is when you pull back the curtain, wrestling is entertainment. That's all it is. We have fun watching it. Boxing, yes, it's entertaining, but we also know it's extremely competitive. I don't think he's doing anything in a goofy fashion to tarnish the sport, is what I'm trying to say. I've seen guys get in the ring that have no business being in the ring. I've seen pro fighters make their pro debut, and you look at them when they're standing there in the blue or the red corner, and you look at their shoes, you look at their sneakers, you can tell they're not fit, they're not ready, they don't have anyone in the corner. Those are the ones that think they're pursuing a dream, but I'm sorry, they're doing a disservice to the sport because they're not prepared. He's actually training, he's putting in the time, he's taking it serious because of the way he's presenting it. Might come off and be goofy. That's one thing. But again, it's just, and again, I'm telling you right now, and I'll argue guys this until the cows come home. Q, you're okay with boxing becoming wrestling? No, not happening. That's not what I'm saying. Scott says something doesn't add up, Q, if it's all about views. It is all about views in that regard, using him as that barometer. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe if he has an opportunity for a legit title fight, it's not going to be horsing around. It's just not. When you're out there against other influencers, or the get the NFL guys or the Nate Robinsons here and there, then you can question it. That's entertainment. But what I'm saying is the fact that now he's ranked and he's putting his time into his craft, I say I can take him a little more serious. And I think it's good for this sport because also what he's doing with MVP and what he's doing for female boxing. So I'm encapsulating everything under that umbrella. Everything. Did I want to see Mike Tyson? No. Do I want to see these old? No, I don't. I don't want to see these guys in the ring anymore because they can get hurt. I don't. I remember I called the fight. Roy Jones Jr. well past his prime, fighting Bobby Gunn, who's a bare knuckle champ. To me, that McGregor and Mayweather was not boxing. That was a circus, but ultimately it was entertainment too. You already knew who was going to win that fight. You knew. There was no chance McGregor was going to cleanly clip him. But you guys paid for it. You watched it. Why? Because you were curious. Because it's like a train wreck. It's like a car crash, and everyone slows down when they see that. You know how many new viewers are watching saying, wow, this sport is dumb. These guys don't seem like they're in the same class. I can't. I don't have an answer to that, right? He's doing all the work and fighting bums and celebrating like he beat world-class boxers because it's all part of the shtick. Go up there, step up, and when he gets smoked, he gets smoked. But I'm not going to sit there and tell you that he wasn't taking it serious. That's what I'm saying. So what happens now? He fights a couple top 50 guys and gets smoked. Okay. What if he does? What if he plants one on their fanny? Side note, all this started because of Mayweather McGregor. No, it was kind of, that's the crossover. That's the crossover. But we've seen MMA guys step into the ring. We've seen Muay Thai guys step into the cage. We've seen the crossover. You can say it maybe was like, oh, what are we doing? And then you take it to another level, right? And again, I'm very protective of the sport. And I know what you guys are saying right now. Like, I want to get to some comments. Joe says, Q, I'm really surprised to hear you say this because it's not a shtick. It's an embarrassment to the sport that you've been covering for how long now? But it's not. It's not. You guys are watching it. I mean, I monitor social media. Boxing Twitter, it's a cesspool, but it's ridiculously active constantly. I think what people don't like is you got a guy who's doing YouTube and now all of a sudden he's making hundreds of millions of dollars. And you guys are like, for what? What's the talent? Well, the talent is he's an entertainer, but now he's cultivating that. Perfect example. Now, be fair, be honest. Be honest. And I have to bring this up because he makes a substantial amount of money. But solitary Stephen A. is getting paid $100 million on ESPN. Now, do you really believe when you listen to him, if you listen to him, 100% being 100%, man, this cat knows exactly what the hell he's talking about? Where do you say a guy like Stephen A., who's all over the place, talking sports for a living, getting paid a ridiculous, obscene amount of money, how much do you think he knows about sports? And don't, see, I already know, and I'm about to combat it, but answer the question first. How much do you honestly say, man, this guy watches sports, everything going on, and he really knows what he's talking about? And don't give me 85, 90, 95, 100%, because he's got a crack staff team doing a lot of work for him. Would you say 55, 60%? Now, is he doing a disservice to people watching because he's not prepped, because he's not putting in the time, but he's getting paid $100 million because he thinks if he screams the loudest, he's right? So what's the difference for a guy like Paul, blood, sweat, and tears, putting in the time, but also helping the sport of women's boxing, putting eyeballs to the sport, putting out of his money for MVP, putting on shows, and also fighting and giving an honest effort? What's the difference? What's the difference? It's all show. He's never going to fight someone legit for a while. It's all about the content. Wrong. Now he's tricking his audience. Big difference. Apples and oranges. It's not. How is he tricking his audience? What are you tricking? You can't get mad if you walk, man. If you walk into a friggin' car dealership and they push all these fancy, sexy products on you, talking about the car and it's got a Johnson rod and, here are the headlights and the stereo or the system and, it kicks into 60 and 2 seconds and you buy it and you get sucked in. And then all of a sudden you turn around and you drive that car off the lot and it's a lemon. Whose fault is it? It's yours because you didn't test drive it. You're the one that got taken and suckered in. No one's saying buy the event. No one's saying buy the event. And again, he's going to put money in his pocket. He should. He should. First and foremost, take care of yourself. Go ahead. But he's also doing a substantial amount for women's boxing. That is a fact. And the issue is, and not guys like you, but the people that will whine, bitch, and complain about it are the ones that are still buying pay-per-views. And they're still talking about it. And they're still following it. And they want to know his next move. So don't give me apples and oranges. You still didn't answer my question. You drove the car off the lot. Now what? You are an exception to the rule. I never once purchased a fight, if that's what you mean. Did you watch Tyson and Paul? Did you watch McGregor and Mayweather? I'll wait. I got nowhere to go. I got another 60 to play with. You ponder that for a minute. We'll take a time out. 60 to book, 60 to play with. 5 o'clock straight up on a Woosah Wednesday, which we are well past that. A lot of comments coming in on Facebook and X. We will get to them as well on the other side. Keep it locked in. Wednesday edition, Middays with Q on TriX 57. I'll take you up to 6 straight up.
The blast got the drinks pouring. Take a risk like it's a short thing. Going in, I'm going all in. Getting food out, you can bring a friend. Dive right in, let's go. Move forward and dip in the flow. Let the rhythm take control. It's going down tonight, Dive right in, let's go. Move forward and dip in the flow. Let the rhythm take control. It's going down tonight, Dive right in.
This is what the Down Beach Seafood Fest is all about. It's about community, it's about friends, it's about culture, right? The food culture in Atlantic County is rich.
Hidden in an abandoned campground in South Jersey lies a mystical encounter with brews and spirits, where bonfires burn, shadows dance, and flavor favors the bold. Ghosts, ghouls, goblins, grown-ups, it's time to reclaim Halloween. This is Witchcraft, October 10th and 11th. For tickets and information, visit witchcraftnj.com.
Hi, I'm Bruce Pascoe. I'm very fortunate. Years ago, I found something that I genuinely like to do, and it's something that helps other people. What I do is help people transition from traditional health insurance into Medicare. I've been doing it here in Atlantic County for more than 20 years. If you're getting ready for Medicare, call me for a free consultation. 609 484 9800.
Then he follows up with this comment. I think Q might be on Jake's payroll. The corporation will have to review. That's utter nonsense. Like I said, I mean, this is just right now what I'm seeing, this text chain, these tweets coming out. You guys are just so wrong with this. I want to read, I got this text from a buddy. I want to read this. How much did Paul pay you? I can't believe how wrong you are about this. He's a complete joke. The fallout will be devastating when the masses realize the sham. Then, very Stephen A. like on your take, go against the peers to create an argument. I don't believe a word you're saying. I'm being serious. I'm being serious. Don't challenge what I'm saying right now. I never come on the air to say something just to say something. Period. I don't. That's not what I do. And ball 16, thank you. Yeah, that's a great, exactly. That's great. That was when he wanted the insider deal with the rust proofing. What is that? It's nothing. It's a waste of money. Yeah, the Johnson rod. Is it so hard for you guys? Listen, I'm not comparing the apples and oranges, okay? Anthony chimes in, love him or hate him, he's bringing life to a damn near dead sport. But okay, that's where I get on you. It's not dead. It's not. It's not dead. Either you are a diehard fight fan or you're a novice fight fan. That's the way I look at it. Okay? Yeah. I feel like I'm watching Stephen A. Any second now, Stephen A. is going to rip the mask off and say, but is that like Scooby-Doo, right? Absolutely. Absolutely not. O chimes in. Q, this is a great day for you. I can't believe you're actually siding with the content creator. Well, I'm not siding with the content creator. We all create content. We all do. The sport, combat sports. Think about, okay, here's one for you. Dana White for years, destroyed the sport of boxing. Now follow me. Didn't take it serious, thought it was a joke, openly said it's a joke. I will never support the sport of boxing. Let me just fact check. Is he not promoting Canelo's upcoming fight? So, point is, where there's this, here we go. And what Paul is doing is, I can make money off this. I can push it. I can create content. I can create a promotional company. I can give women a big opportunity to showcase their talent on an all-female card. Now, I want you to follow me. Because women's boxing, they want to try to get their 3 rounds. They want to get their 3-minute rounds. And a lot of times it's 2 minutes, but they want that they want that pay, right? They want that pay. Okay. So July 11th, right around the corner, method to my madness. Why am I bringing this up now? You've got a card coming up, MVP, right? Nakiska Batarian, Jake Paul. That's in New York, Madison Square Garden. Oh, by the way, follow me now. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, IBF, IBO, WBC, WBO, World Superweight. Ellie Skotnoy fighting for a championship. Alicia Baumgartner fighting for a belt. Savannah Marshall fighting for a belt. You want me to keep going? Tamika Johnson fighting for a belt. That card is strictly females. That's not happening without Jake Paul. It's not. It's not happening without Jake Paul. Nobody is taking the only other promoter that I know that has had a hand and really pushed and supported female fight game and female boxing is Lou DiBella on Broadway Boxing. There's no mask coming off, man. Seriously, Q, if the fans voted for who had matches, would that fix boxing since views matter? So you're talking about matchups. You want fans to dictate the matchup is what you're saying. No. Now, I think, I believe, Scott, what you mentioned before about the fights being fixed. I mean, there's the dawn of day, right? Okay, this is what you were saying. Can you fix boxing if you let the fans vote on who fights? No, because ultimately it's got to come down to what? Money. So if I'm a fighter and I'm trying to make a fight, I want the best. I want the best purse. I want the best split. I want the best cut, especially if I'm the A side. And a lot of times these fights never happen because the fighters, I should say their promotional team, can't decide on the split. Who's the A side? Who's the B C? We've seen it. We've seen it with Tank. We've seen it with Shakur. We've seen it with Ryan Garcia. I mean, we've seen it with Canelo. We've seen it with Crawford Spence. The whole reason Pacquiao and Mayweather, that fight was made 5, 6, 7 years past the prime. 5, 6, 7 years past the prime, right? Would you agree Jake Paul doesn't give a flying duck about the sport? It's all about his pockets. I can't. Who's to say that? At the end of the day, you guys work. You're putting money in your pocket first and foremost. You're doing your job. You're clocking in, you're clocking out. You're taking care of who first? You. So I can't bemoan someone or begrudge him because he's making money. People are ticked off because they think of him as a social media clown and he's been able to turn around and get millions and millions of views and now take up the sport of boxing and he's cashing in even more. You're talking about it. You're all angry. On a Woosah Wednesday, you guys need the hug. Not me. You guys need it. These guys are talented, so they're using that to their advantage. Think about this. Come on. Do the Kardashians have any semblance of talent whatsoever? But people watch them. And they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. What are they contributing to society? Seriously. I mean, at least this guy's backing up what he's supposed to be doing. That's all I'm saying. Michael, I don't know what the man's saying. Stephen Hughes. Does anyone remember Buddy McBuffet? That's why we can't have the German public decisions. Pac-Man wouldn't get drug tested. Yeah, it was besides that, though. Come on. Stop. And then what happened after that fight? What did he complain about? The shoulder injury. That fight was past its prime, period. And everyone thought, neutral site, backyard, Pacquiao was going to beat Mayweather. Everyone thought that. Or Mayweather was going to dance around over 10 rounds, over 12 rounds. I mean, it's just Floyd announces retirement, brief retirement, and then Pacquiao earns superstar status. Here we go. He got the big win over Oscar De La Hoya, and all of a sudden, boom, Mayweather's thinking, hold on a second. I got an opportunity to do something here. That's all that was. Pacquiao took the shine. Mayweather didn't like it. Hence, they fought. That was the beginning of the delay. Money Mayweather said, take the test and we will fight. Okay, you're still proving yourself wrong. Watching the Kardashians is not good. I didn't say I watched the Kardashians. I did finish. I will tell you that I finished Squid Game season 3. I don't think there's going to be a season 4. Let me just say, wow. I was surprised. I was shocked. I was dismayed. I almost broke a tear during the finale of Squid Game. I don't think there's going to be a Squid Game 4, but we went through 3 this year. And by the way, I see already you guys getting at me on Money Heist. Just stop. All right. If you didn't like Money Heist, that's fine. But again, don't throw it back at me. I think Jake Paul likes both. He's a businessman. What's wrong with that? These guys, they also become caricatures, do they not? They become entertainers. and they're being paid handsomely. I mean, hey, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I wouldn't mind having some of that coin for giving an opinion, but I'm not going to say stuff just to be outlandish. I don't think he's bad for this sport. I think there's other issues in the sport of boxing. I do. I think and the way social media now is, you go on X, you go on IG, you go on YouTube, you see the press conferences, you see the pre-fight, you see the festivities, you see the theatrics, you see the weigh-in, if there's juice, if there's buzz. I'm telling you, man, go on a Saturday if you're bored for an hour and go on X when there's a fight. The fans are fanatical, and there's fights to be made. There are fights to be made in the sport of boxing, and there are good promoters that are serious about the fighters. They try to, promote these young kids, groom these kids, have them turn pro, have solid amateur careers. Nowadays, back in the day, these amateurs, they had 80, 90, 100 fights. In the 60s, 70s, these guys were fighting 2-3 times a day. If you're an amateur right now in 2025 and you have 30 amateur fights, you're pretty much pro ready. And there's a lot of good fighters up and down the East Coast, in the DMV, in Jersey, in New York, in Philadelphia. There's, like I said, good promotions that put on local solid cards. And it's an opportunity, grassroots boxing. These guys get an opportunity, 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, make a name, go on to bigger and better things. But I do know from speaking to a lot of current fighters, yeah, they're soured on what a guy like Jake Paul can do. But Jake Paul made a lot of money first doing his content. And you guys know this. When you have money, you can spend money. When you have money and you spend money, you can make money. You need money to make money. He's been able to do that. So sure, you might see a guy grinding in the gyms in Northeast, putting in his time, trying to get 2 to 3 fights a year, building up his resume, building up his record, fighting in the 2300, fighting in the Newtown Pal, fighting over in Jersey, in Carteret, fighting in Atlantic City, building up that profile, building up the resume, bouncing around from promoter and trainer. And now all of a sudden he's 16-1. He cracks the top 10 as a welter. He wants his shot. He wants his shot. And it all depends on timing, promotional team, if the fight's, if it could be made, and you got to have an opponent. That's always been the rub with boxing. Once these guys, recircle through each other, you don't have an opponent. After a while, no one cares about the rematch. If I blew your doors off, in 8 rounds of a 10-round fight, we kind of know it's going to go the same way in the rematch. There's no such things anymore, the rematches or trilogies. That's where the sport's lost. But you have a lot of these young fighters, they're more dedicated to social and branding and marketing and pushing than really getting back to the gym. Jake Paul gets away with it because, first and foremost, he is an influencer. He is a boxer, second. That's why I don't think it's bad for the sport. I just don't. Great Squid Game reference, Q. Are you a Thanos fan from Squid Game? Is Thanos... Hold on a second. I hate doing this. I'm sorry. I hate Googling. He died a horrible death. I mean, hopefully I don't ruin it for you. Player 230. He was all right. There's a bunch. I started to get into Bet, which was okay. But then I just finished My Name, which was very good on Netflix. Very good. I think one of the guys that was in Squid Game was also in that show. I'm pretty sure one of the guys from Squid Game was in that show. And my next is, and I'm sorry, I got to Google in front of you guys. Google, got to do it, is a show called DiVincenzo. It's like he's in the mob. He's an Asian Italian, but he's in the mob. He's in the Asian mob, and he's trying to go for vengeance. So I'm all in it. Thanos was okay. I felt bad, to be quite honest, how Squid Game ended. I thought maybe the way it ended, they were leaving it open for like a season 4, and I don't want to ruin it if you guys didn't see it, because I can't stand when someone's talking about something and you're like, whoa. Like in that Seinfeld episode when they're having dinner, when George brings Frank and Estelle to Susan's house for the first time. That was a great episode, by the way. You had everything in that episode. They're sitting at dinner, and the mom is just just getting sloshed at the table. That was the Marble Rye episode, which is an all-time classic. So if Ball's a Seinfeld fan, and I think he is, he'll get the reference. So they're sitting around, and they're having like Cornish game hen. So like Jerry Stiller, Frank Costanza, turns around and he goes, I don't understand this, Cornish game hen. He goes, you got a chicken, you got the rooster, where does the hen come in? And the father turns around and he goes, they all have sex with each other. And he's like, wait a second, that's perverse. And then they start talking about a movie, and then he's telling the scene, and right away Frank jumps in, don't ruin it, don't ruin it, don't ruin it. I didn't see it yet. And he's like, that scene has nothing to do with it. I'm that guy. Like, don't start talking about the scene. If I didn't see the movie, I didn't get on Facebook. I didn't get on social when I was ripping through Cobra Kai. I didn't do it when I was going through Money Heist. I certainly didn't do it years ago when I was watching Lost. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Jake Paul, man, just cannot let it go on a woosah. Jake Paul fights equal 50% or more non-boxing fans watching who will never watch a different fight. I can't give you the numbers. I will tell you people watch. I mean, they watch. They watch. Just because you don't like the guy, you don't like the guy. It's okay. That's okay. I don't have to like the theatrics, but he's cashing in. So why am I going to hate, man? Like, seriously, why am I going to hate? Chavez Jr. took home $750,000. Do you want to know what Paul brought in? Paul's purse for the first fight was just $300,000. So remember now, guaranteed purse. So the $300,000 doesn't include pay-per-view. And again, who held the event? MVP, his promotional team. Smart. Say what you want, man. That is a genius businessman. Genius. Now, if he goes against Tank Davis or Anthony Joshua, it might be a different story. And then you guys can come on the air and say, here you go. Here you go, right? Here you go. Here you go. The small fork did him in. Are we still talking Squid Game? I think, yeah. Yes, the bathroom scene. Correct. Yes, the bathroom scene. Yes, Thanos. This is so far over your head, blows my mind. So when Jake is unboxing, what happens? How? It's not. It's you guys want me to agree with you, and I'm not going. And I have a lot of comments coming in, and I'm going to read them off. Kevin from North Jersey chimes in. There's no harm what Paul's doing, Q. Everyone needs to back off. D chimes in. I have no issues with Paul. He's a businessman first and foremost. Let's not take it too serious. Marty in Delaware is chiming in. Q, great content. Love the boxing talk. I have no issue. Look what he's doing for the females fight game. So again, you guys want me to sit here and say he's a joke. He's a joke. He's a joke. He's rated. He's going to get another fight. He's going to cash in. He's bringing more eyeballs. Again. That's all I'm talking about. Don't care what Jake Paul does. Just fix the ducking and boxing like Mike Reed does on the sticks and Madden. Well, there's a call out from Howie. Oh, my goodness, Scott. Wow. I mean, hold on a second. This is something now on a Wednesday. I have a question now. Is this, I got to pull this back up. Let's bring this back up. Is this technically corporation on corporation crime? That's what I want to know right now on a Wednesday. We got a lot of eyeballs tuning in. Is that a shot? Is there something going on? Is there a crack in the foundation here in the corporation? Because to me, that's a shot that the Bunker Boys would do. I got to be honest, Scott. I'm a little turned off right now. You're taking a shot like this to Michael. I mean, that's corporation on corporation crime, and we can't have it. We can't have it. And serious, yes, you want fighters to fight each other. You do. You don't want them to duck each other. All right, 5:30. Got a lot more comments coming in. We will rip them off. I need to know if this is corporation on corporation crime, because if it is, we've got an issue on our hands. Joey B tuning in late. That's okay. Brown hire for the Knicks proves there was something deeper with Tibbs. He was not liked and was grumpy old man. New age players get rid of him. Players can control Brown. I hate to hire Joey B. I hate to hire. It's a safe hire. I'm not fond of the hire. I had no problem when they got rid of Tibbs. I don't like the hire at all for Braun. He's shown me that, again, he's not a proven winner. He's been canned 4 times. I'm over it already, to be quite honest with you. I'm over it already. Because now I'm looking at this franchise, 0 direction. 0 direction again. 0 direction. And it's nauseating. It's nauseating. It really is. Like, get a clue. Like, get a clue. Period. Robbie chimes in. Q, do people really pay for that garbage? Let's be honest. I didn't. But I'm just telling you, again, some people did. Some people paid for it. So it's not that big of a deal. See, what happens is, this is what rubs me the wrong way. I get criticized because everyone would say back in the day, I was the only guy talking boxing on the radio. Constantly boxing on the radio during the week. No one does that because I have a passion for the sport. So then you get the nitwits, you get the goofballs, the little clowns that will chime in once in a while when there's a big fight. And if there's a bad decision, they turn around and they think they know the history of the sport, and right away they're an expert. This is why no one watches the sport of boxing. It's beyond nauseating. It really is. Like, I just want to get an ice pick and just ram it in my ear when I hear that nonsense. That's the problem, because you have suspect fans, period, that don't know what the hell they're talking about. None. And what I'm saying now is, you don't need to like the fighters, but you have to understand that there's a sediment of the sport. Yes, it's entertainment. All you goofballs that are trying to troll and friggin' clown me right now, you goofballs turn around and you guys watch Tyson versus Paul. You wanted to see Mike Tyson back in the ring. You wanted to watch Oscar back in the ring. You wanted to watch Mayweather back in the ring. You wanted to watch McGregor and Mayweather. You wanted to watch, insert fighter here. Or, hey, did you see Nate Robinson take on this guy? You guys watch. You paid for it. Now all of a sudden you're friggin' experts on the sport. Because I turn around and I'm giving credit to a guy that has great business acumen. Just stop. It's ludicrous. And I actually hope he turns around and he goes out and he knocks someone on their fanny that's ranked as well. So then I can come on the air and brag a little more. You guys, you want him to go out and get his bell rung so then you can say, you told me so. Told me what? You told me what? I'm not sitting here saying this guy's an all-time great. I'm saying he's been able to take this niche from building content and take his audience mainstream over to the sport and cash in, which is genius. Period. And you guys just don't want to hear it. You don't like it because someone else is doing it. Michael chimes in. Wait a minute. That's a shot. Correct. Corporation on corporation crime is never good. And I'm going to tell you what else is never good. Now, I'm starting to see right now during the show, Michael, I'm starting to see, the madman is a little overly aggressive on this Wednesday, to be honest. I mean, he's just relentless right now. Okay? Relentless with me. And I'm not going to back down. You want to come at me? That's fine. We'll clash. I will clash like Squid Game and Thanos. 533. He did he did die a horrible death. I mean, it was just painful to watch some of those scenes because you're like, oh, this is not going to end well. The jump rope scene. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's too late to put the question of the day up there. Jake Paul good for the sport of boxing. I think we're all past that. I got some more comments coming in, 533. Keep them rolling. We'll take them good, bad, or indifferent. Some Facebook messages as well. Quick timeout. Little NFL on the other side as well on this Woosah Wednesday edition of Middays with Q. We'll take you up to 6 right here on TriX 57. Keep it locked in, about 25 to play with.
The blast got the drinks pouring. Take a risk like it's a short thing. Going in, yeah, I'm going all in. Get it cool out, yeah, you can bring a friend. Dive right in, let's go.
what the Down Beach Seafood Fest is all about. It's about community, it's about friends, it's about culture, right? The food culture in Atlantic County is rich.
Hidden in an abandoned campground in South Jersey lies a mystical encounter with brews and spirits, where bonfires burn, shadows dance, and flavor favors the bold. Ghosts, ghouls, goblins, grown-ups, it's time to reclaim Halloween. This is Witchcraft, October 10th and 11th. For tickets and information, visit witchcraftnj.com.
All right, 536 seems to be a little controversy during the break. If I missed your comment, I apologize. I will certainly. There's a couple things we need to break down here. And again, if you guys are just tuning in late, you guys. You guys are just phenomenal today. So we talked a lot about Jake Paul, influence on the sport of boxing. Obviously, the Knicks hire with Brown. Want you guys to get social with us as always. TryX57 on Facebook, IG, and X. TryX57.com. You can follow me on IG and X. Rich Q on Q, TikTok. Rich Q on the mic. So there's a couple things we need to go through. There's obviously something going on with the corporation. Now, for those tuning in, the corporation, they are a very tight-knit group of listeners. I'm going to assume these are lifelong childhood friends that chime in to Middays with Q. And we love it. We love the banter. We learned a couple things today. They're taking shots at each other. We learned one of them is scared of Hollywood functions. I'm not really sure what we do with that. I mean, how are you scared of? I got to call people out. Right? What are we scared of? The costumes? I mean, did I like the movie Poltergeist? No. As a kid, that clown scared the bejeevuses out of me. I hated that clown. I had a little clown. I had to throw him in a closet. Like, that scares me. But am I to believe that grown men are scared by Halloween festivities? Is this where we're going? I mean, that's, yeah, Halloween. That's what I'm saying. Halloween. Jump rope scene was brutal. The jump rope scene in Squid Game, by all accounts, Michael, to be honest, in my twisted mind, I watched it. I rewound it. I watched it twice because it was just a very disturbing moment. We need to know why some of you guys are scared of Halloween. We need to get into that. Let me get to a couple comments as well. Jay in Glasgow chimes in. Q, I have no issues with Jake Paul. Like you mentioned, he's banking. He's bringing in a lot of money. It is entertainment at the end of the day. And you're right. To your point, the fight game will never be like it was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Enjoying the show as always. I appreciate that, pal. It won't. It will never be there. But you get a new crop, just like everything else. Every sport's cynical, period. Everything is. My brother made me watch The Shining when I was 9. I don't want to go upstairs to a room afterwards. Classic movie. Classic. Glad I don't need to watch season 3 after a Woosah Wednesday. You should watch it. It was pretty good. That show, if you really think about it, we're talking Jake Paul. You guys know how I like to draw the parallels. I can hear you guys right now saying, oh my God, where the heck is he going with this? So you got guys that make a lot of money, right? And everyone, when you're making money, you want more money, you become greedy, which is a sin. You got the pride, the ego, everything happens. Then you lose that, right? You have to treat money with respect. Now you go and you watch a show like Squid Game. Think about this for a minute. Think about this for a second. These contestants all had some type of issues. Obviously, they were indebted to someone. They owed money. They had debt. They had gambling debt. They had addictions. They lost jobs. They just were being, followed by creditors. all this kind of stuff, all this kind of stuff. But ultimately, as the games progressed and they saw more money when other players were dying and being eliminated, they hung in there because of what? The money. They became more greedy, more greedy, more greedy. They weren't even worried about life or limb. Some of the characters, I kid you not, I was like, oh my God, I hope they have a horrible fate, because they were so annoying. They were so filled and obsessed with money and greed that they lost sight of actually, knowing that their life was on the line. I mean, and unfortunately, it turned out only one man survives. What do we got here? Steve in, this is not Steve in Wilmington. This is not Steve in Glasgow. I know he's in Delaware because it's 302 on the text. I'm going to assume it's somewhere in Delaware. Chimes in. Squid Game, fantastic. You talk about the social injustice of the world. Q, laugh out loud. And you're right, that jump rope scene was absolutely insane. These are definitely trying times for Squid Game. I hope there's going to be a season 4. Haven't watched Money Heist yet. I will go on your recommendations. And as your sports content, going back to Jake Paul, the sport of boxing is dead, Q. I hate to kill it to you, but the sport of boxing is dead. Enjoying the show. No, it's not. Michael says, Q, how to help a friend who's scared of clowns asking for a friend. I don't know what to do in that regard. I don't. I mean, it's a clown. You should equate a clown with happiness. Some people don't. Kramer, Seinfeld doesn't like clowns. Doesn't, right? It's not a corporation crime. That's management issues. Oh, I'm a warrior worker, but I hate clowns, especially the ones with cheeseburgers in their hands. So Halloween is out for me. Oh my God, dear listener, do not watch Money Heist. Why not? It's a great show. You guys can't appreciate good shows. I was watching, speaking of which, I started to put together my list. I know yesterday we were talking about some of the quarterbacks. We broke down the AFC West with Lloyd. He's going to join me tomorrow. Costco on Friday. Costco is going to be joining me on Wednesdays, college football. Fridays, we're going to hit a little more local college football, high school football as well during the season. But I went back and was looking at some of the segments when we were breaking down all these divisions in the NFL and how we easily come up with, the quarterbacks under pressure, under the microscope, head coaches on the hot seat, blah, 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 blah. And then we get into like the surprise picks and the sleeper picks. So we're near training camp. We're approaching the dog days of summer, right? 4th of July, right around the corner. We get into baseball. You get into midseason break. You get into the trade deadline, MLB. Then obviously turn the page, August, September, NFL, here we go. And I wanted to kind of plant this seed for some shows going forward, just to give you guys an idea, when we're talking some NFL. How many teams would you say right now, how many teams in the NFL can you confidently say, I can see them in the Super Bowl next season? It's a very easy question. It really is. It's a very easy question to answer, but objectively, can you see 4 teams? Can you see 5 teams? Can you see 6 teams? Can you see 7 teams? How many objectively? Yeah, we're going to go dog days. We're going to go the DOG, not the DAWG, not dog, who's an infamous listener and caller from Mount Laurel. We're going to go DOG, lazy days of summer. But how many teams can you honestly say, I can see them in the Super Bowl? I think if we're being fair, 5. That's me. That's my thought on a Wednesday. 5. And I think I think it's very easy. You're always going to get a surprise. So that's the caveat. But the 5 I'm looking at right now: Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, the Philadelphia Eagles. And guess what? I'm going to do it. Washington. Now, I mentioned Denver can win the West, but I don't think they're that championship level team right now. But I believe Washington, here's my point, right? We always talk about every season, the teams that missed the playoffs have an opportunity to get in the playoffs. It's the NFL. If the league decides to eventually go to 18, it's going to open up years from now a 20-game season. To me, you're expanding the rosters. You're probably going to get a couple expansion teams, and you're going to saturate the sport. I think you're going to water down the sport. I'm not going to say it's like what the WNBA is doing with a couple new teams, but that also leaves me to believe that if 3 or 4 teams can kind of steady the waters with young quarterbacks, proven quarterbacks, good talent, a strong roster, then they're arguably going to be the same 3, 4, 5 teams we're talking about year in and year out. That's the uniqueness of the NFL. Like, I feel as though baseball, we can, pitching. You can get hot, right? You can get hot. Now P Doggy, oh my goodness. You want to talk about a, lucking out, right? Now, I think he was denied bail, right? He got found guilty of prostitution, so he's going to stay behind bars until sentencing. But yeah, that's, man. How this dude, this dude, he dodged these charges, kind of like you guys do when I'm going at you with these comments. To be quite honest, NFL game day roster should be 70. 3 strings at each position, 3 specialists, developmental, 4th quarterback. So if they do that, you expand the roster. That tells me you're expanding the seasons. But you're always going to have, point is, again, you're always going to have 4 or 5 teams every single year in the NFL. That's it. Baseball, it's different. The NBA, it's different. It's wide open. NHL, to some extent wide open. Baseball, wide. NFL, we're talking the same teams every year. Every year, it's the same teams. Nothing changes. Yeah, you are going to get that sleeper team, right? By the way, DeAndre Ayton just signed with the Lakers. $34 million. Wow. Like I mentioned, these contracts are just absurd. It's the same 3 or 4 teams every year. You'll get a team that's nice, that's on the rise, that's on the comeuppance, right? The Denver, Detroit a couple years ago, Washington a couple years ago, Washington last year, I should say, maybe the Chargers right now, maybe New England with a young quarterback, they kind of figure it out. But it's not, when everyone says this is the most wide open NFL season, it's not. It really isn't. Buffalo's going to be there. Baltimore's going to be there. Cincinnati's going to be there. Kansas City's going to be there. The Eagles are going to be there. And if we go by the last several years, you have to say Detroit. That's it. 5 teams. That's it. Now, how do you fix that? How do you remedy that? Do you go to bigger rosters? Do you expand the season? Do you bring in another 1 or 2 expansion franchises? If you do that, then you're going to water down the product, are you not? If they go 18 games, they're eventually going to go 20 games. You're going to see the season start in late August. So you got August, September, October, November, December, January. The Super Bowl is going to be late February, 20 games. You're going to have to then have expansion. Now, that would bring in this. What would be the next logical, or where would be the next logical market or markets for the NFL? If they decide to expand the NFL, if they do that, now your most recent was the Texans, but that was 2002. So I believe we're going to start to hit that global market. And that's where, if teams are granted rights to play in the UK, Germany, Brazil, Canada, that's where we're going. And I don't know what you guys make of it. I don't know what you think of it. I mean, you might get a team. You might get the London Leopards, the Madrid Megas, I don't know, the Dublin Irishmen. I don't know. But you're going to get expansion with the NFL. You're going to get expanded rosters, and that season is going to eventually be 20 games. It is. It is because they are so focused on expanding the product come hell or high water. They are London, Madrid, um, you know, um, Dublin, Mexico City, Munich, or as they properly pronounce it, Munchik. They're going to expand. They really are. Then guess what? We're not going to be talking about these 5 or 6. It's going to be 2 or 3. Already a European league from the ashes of NFL Europe. I think that's the expansion. So they still got the building blocks in place, right? Right. So you'll probably get that. See, this is what I'm saying on a Wednesday. I mean, come on, man. It's 5:50. We had a good show. What are you doing here? We had a good show. We had good engagement. We had a couple, we had a couple laughs. Yeah. I mean, it is. You're right. It is for entertainment purposes, just like 4 to 6 is for entertainment purposes. 4 to 6 entertainment. Yeah. Be happy about it. So that's the, no, there's no solitary Stephen A in that Q mask. Stop it. We had a good show. We had a good flow, no disruption. We had a little bit of corporation on corporation crime. We had some trolls. We had some hate, haterade coming at me with Jake Paul and some of my takes. And that's okay. I accept it. I roll with the punches. I'm okay with that. Wish I got paid like him. I mean, I'm not going to lie. And then you come with the entertainment comment. Sports, it's all entertainment. You shouldn't take it too serious. You shouldn't. You guys have an issue. Don't watch. That's all I'm saying. Don't watch. Now, will you pay when the NFL goes a la carte? If it's just entertainment? Madman, you are a 49ers fan. If the NFL is only offering 49er games by the week and not a season pass, will you pay $14.99 every Sunday to watch your 49ers at the stick because it's entertainment? What say you? I say you will. I say you will. We should be heralding SAS the same way we should be happy about JP. Stop. Tour de France starts Saturday. I'm telling you, it's great stuff. I mean, do we say ball read the room? I give him credit. He's come up with some good comments today. The Johnson rod was, right there. Tour de France, man. You watching a little, what's going on right now? Is it the U.S. Open, right? Wimbledon? Didn't Coco Puffs she got upset, right? Didn't she? Right? Who's a Wilmington fan out there? A Wilmington fan out there. Didn't Coco lose? Right? She just won the French. She ranked number 2. She just got bounced by Diana Yastremska. How about that? How about that on a Wednesday for pronunciation? I don't read the room. I am the room. I complain about NFL price gouging, but I wound up paying for it. Well, we all do in the end, man. We all do. Let me get to KC chimes in. Q, thoughts, Brown? No. Like I said this in the beginning of the show. Not enamored by the hire. Madman, non-room reading recommendation. American Thunder on Amazon Prime about Hendrick sending a cup car to 24 hours at Le Mans. Now, you want to watch a really... Did you see Ford versus Ferrari? That was a good movie. I like that movie. I thought that was Christian Bale is a very good actor. And how do you not like anything Matt Damon? They should, anything Matt Damon is in, I'll watch. I feel like they should have came out with a Rounders 2, but, some people would disagree. I sell the open seas for sports content. See, that's what we want. That's outside the box. That is thinking outside the box and outside the room. Ford versus Ferrari was a fantastic movie. It really was. I like those times. I haven't seen, what's the new one out with my guy Brad Pitt? What is it? F1? What's the sentiment on that? What good ratings? I'm hearing pretty good on Rotten Tomatoes, as we like to use that as a gauge. It's got an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes. So have you guys seen that yet? F1, is it even out? Is it in theaters? Do you guys still go to movie theaters? That's another thing, right? I mean, we should be able to buy that fairly soon. Oh, Qfecta before we get out of here, and I'll get to a couple more comments. Second game of the double dip, Phillies 155 on a money line against the Padres. They already lost today. Yankees, there's no way you're losing 3 out of 4 to the Blue Jays, and I'll take the Braves over the Angels. Let me squeeze in a couple comments before we close it out. By the way, did you watch Pop Shot? No, did he on ESPN News the other day? Arcade hoop machine contest. No. Ooh. I still have to find the photo of me flipping. Was it Donkey Kong or was it Super? You know what? It might have been Donkey Kong. I have to find that photo. Now, if you remember too, in Mount Laurel, back in the day, the 7-Eleven, Ramwood Farms, that was the spot. You know, you get your $5, your $10, you get your pack of cards, drive up there, ride your bike up there. Got to watch Hainesport, got to watch the traffic on the right, slide right through there. You had Jerry's Deli in the back, unbelievable sandwiches. Jerry was the best. I found out his name wasn't even Jerry, but that's okay. Jerry's Deli behind it. You had the barber shop. You go in there back in the day. Hey, I want my hair to get spiked. They snip it. They give you a little mousse. Get the hell out of here. $10. That 7-Eleven had, you walked in, you made the left, and right in the corner, that had Carnov. That was the game of choice. 7-Eleven had Carnov for about 10 years, which is, I believe, one of the most underrated video games of all time. Underrated. When I say underrated, I mean, you got the dude with no shirt ripped, just blowing fire at people. Unbelievable. Now, that was a game, and I flipped that as well. I flipped that game too. Now, I don't have proof like Costanza did with the Frogger. Remember, he went into the Frogger machine, and he tried to take it and go across with Slippery Pete. I don't have proof on that, but the Polaroid to flipping Donkey Kong, I have to show you. Those games are coming back. Those are classics. Those are absolutely classics. Remember the little small ones, the handheld ones? Like the real small video games where you took the big Duracell batteries. Unbelievable. Those were absolutely classic. Yes. Shlomo. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't get along with Slippery Pete. Well, you know, he's kind of slippery. Plus, we don't agree on his nickname. Yes, Shlomo. Exactly. They didn't have enough extension cord. And they went in there to the pizza joint and they ordered 2 slices and 2 grape sodas. And the owner was like, that's going to keep us in business. All right, got to start wrapping it up. Good stuff on a Wednesday. Lloyd tomorrow in the 5 o'clock hour. John Bueller in the 5 o'clock hour. Larry Henry next week. He's going to have some weekly spots, talking a little soccer with us as well. We'll do some picks and plays. Excellent job on the comments. If I did not get to your comments today, I greatly, greatly apologize. What did we learn today on this Wednesday? Sports are entertainment. And you guys don't like it. Michael says, who do you have winning the UEFA Women's Soccer Tournament? Spain. We got Larry Henry coming on, Michael. So hang tight. We're going to talk a little more soccer tomorrow. Friday show, 4th of July. We will get into that. We're going to do a weekly spot with Larry. Does a great job covering the sport for The Athletic. I mentioned Costco on college football, Gardner on baseball, Giovanna Alford, WNBA plays and picks. We want to have him on as well. And then Lloyd tomorrow. A lot more NFL to get into. So excellent job, corporation. We don't want any more corporation on crimes. By the time we come on the air tomorrow, Thursday, 4 o'clock, you guys work it out amongst yourself. We do not want a hostile work environment from 4 to 6 on Middays with Q. Appreciate all the good folks over at TriX57 keeping us locked in and on the air. Get social with them. As always, it's pretty easy to do at TriX57.com. Facebook, like, comment, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out that URL. Keep it in the browser as well. And as always, check us out 4 to 6 Monday to Fridays. All right, have a wonderful Sports Wednesday. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the engagement. You guys are unbelievable, hanging for 2 hours on this Wednesday edition, a Woosah Wednesday edition of Middays with Q. We will be back in the saddle tomorrow. Enjoy the baseball tonight. A little more NBA talk, picks, and plays as well. We'll post them out on the TikTok channel as well. Rich Q on the mic.